Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Got a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to jump right into it. I want to start with this. This happened last night, right before we went live with the EA Sports College Football stream. So we talked a little bit about it during that stream, but I still wanted to mention it in this video. Tennessee has suffered their first casualty to the portal. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away. But the first casualty for the spring cycle, that is from Hayes Fawcett, breaking Tennessee defensive back John Slaughter plans to enter the transfer portal, he tells On3 Sports. The 6'2", 200-pound defensive back played in 22 games in his time with the Volunteers. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. Now, most of his play for the 2024 season, most of his play in his career at Tennessee came in special teams. But when you look at John Slaughter and you think about the defensive backfield, you think depth, right? You're losing a body that's depth in that secondary. But I look to the talk from the spring, and a lot of the chatter, a lot of the talk in the spring was around Caleb Beasley. Caleb Beasley was one of the top players in the state of Tennessee. When he committed, he moved over from corner to safety. Everybody is saying that Caleb Beasley had a good spring at safety. So is this John Slaughter kind of seeing the writing on the wall? I think ultimately Jacoby Thomas is going to start at safety, and then now you've got Caleb Beasley maybe taking over that second string spot, and John Slaughter just kind of sees the writing on the wall, and he's looking for playing time elsewhere. This is the kind of situation where I say best of luck to John Slaughter. This is not me holding up the team. This is not me holding Tennessee hostage because of certain situations. This is John Slaughter looking to better his career. So I would say best of luck to John Slaughter. Now, he's the first for this spring cycle. Do you guys think we see more? And if you do, who do you see possibly entering the portal from Tennessee? I know a lot of people were worried about skill positions, Mike Matthews, Boo Carter. We're talking about Braylon Staley. I don't think those guys are going anywhere. I think maybe the stuff with Nico hitting the portal, the way that went down, skipping practice, the way Miles Kitselman responded to that, kind of seems like that is building this team together, making this team stronger. I do think you maybe keep your eye on Larry Johnson. He's a name that keeps coming up as a possibility to hit the portal. But jump in the comment section and let's talk about who you think may or may not enter the portal. We got a couple more things I want to get to, but as always, you guys know the deal. I need you to do that YouTube stuff. Thumbs up right down there, quick, helps the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we drop a video or when we do a live stream. This time of year, we could go live at any moment, so make sure you ring that bell for notifications. If you really like what we do, you want more content, you like getting daily videos talking Tennessee football every single day, think about hitting that join button. It's right down there beside subscribe. It's only $1 a month. You get special perks and benefits, but you are supporting this channel that is for the fans, by the fans. Now, the title of the video, Tennessee is screwed. Boogie, what are you talking about? I bet a lot of you guys saw this floating around on social media just yesterday. This is from On3. It says, Urban Meyer on Nico Iamaleava's departure. Tennessee is screwed. They've got a problem. Now, we're going to go through the entire quote. We're going to see what Urban Meyer had to say. But, man, oh, man, just watching this Nico drama continue to unfold. He ends up likely going to UCLA. His dad comes out, doubles down, and saying that it was not about money. It was about Tennessee's offense, the scheme, the weapons around Nico. Again, if I'm Mike Matthews, if I'm Boo Carter, if I'm Braylon Staley, and I see Nico and his father, his camp, whoever, going out there and talking about the guys around Nico weren't up to par, man, oh, man, that puts a chip on my shoulder for this 2025 season. That doesn't make me want to transfer out. I dang sure ain't going to follow Nico to UCLA, but I'm going to play with a chip on my shoulder in 2025. Now, let's go through the entire quote here from Urban Meyer. He says, here's the reality. Tennessee is screwed. He says they've got a problem. You lose a potential high draft pick. You have the backup quarterback left last year. Now you have a redshirt freshman that threw 9 passes as a freshman. You have 0 experience, and the portal opens as we speak. They're going to have to get one, obviously. That's the end of the quote. Obviously, you got to go get a quarterback in the portal. We know that. The question is who? Who is that quarterback? Who's available? He mentioned the backup leaving last year. Of course, he's talking about Gaston Moore there, who could theoretically come back. I know that's an option a lot of people talk about. Will that happen? I don't know, but if he does, if Gaston Moore does come back, what does that tell you? I'll tell you what it tells me. It tells me that this coaching staff has confidence in Jake because they're not out there looking for a starter. They're not out there looking to spend $2 million on a quarterback. It tells me they believe in Jake, but you also have to pay attention to who's available, who's out there. Is there a quarterback out there that you could bring in to be the starting quarterback? But again, it tells me they have confidence in Jake Merklinger if they do go that route and Gaston Moore does, in fact, come back. It's the same thing if you go to the portal and you just add a depth guy, right? A guy that's, going to fill that room up. Maybe a guy with 1 year of eligibility. We're going to talk about a guy here in just a moment that would kind of check that box. If they do that, again, and I get it. Some people are going to be frustrated. Some people are going to be disappointed. Some people are going to take to social media and they're going to say, well, we dropped the ball again. We went out and got a guy that sucks. This guy is not – this is not the sexy name in the portal. This is not who we want. But it tells me they believe in Jake. It tells me that they know what they've got. And again, they knew what they had when they told Nico to walk, when they said, we're not paying you what you want because we know what we've got in Jake. Tells me they know what they've got. We talked about this a lot last night during the EA Sports College Football stream, which, by the way, if you don't watch those, come hang out. We had 2 hours of good conversation about the Nico drama, about quarterbacks in the portal, fun stuff, good back and forth, give and take. But we talked about evaluation. We talk about, evaluating the high school kids. We talk about evaluating kids in the portal. Guess what? You also have to evaluate your own roster. And that's what Josh Heupel, that's what this coaching staff did with Nico. They evaluated him. Is he worth $4 million? They said no. They're also at the same time evaluating Jake. They know what they have in Jake Merklinger. Urban Meyer continues. Back to the quote. He says, here's the thing. There's a couple of key elements here. Everybody's saying, nice job, Tennessee, making a stand. Got a little comment on that. Tennessee plays Florida usually every year in October. Can you imagine that game's going the other way and Coach Heupel grabs the microphone, stands on the 50-yard line in Neyland Stadium and says, it's okay. I made a stand way back when. That's a weird statement. First of all, the game's in the swamp. Second of all, what are you talking about? I mean, I get what he's trying to say here. But that's kind of a stupid statement. So, again, let's take what he's trying to say. Does this whole ordeal, does losing Nico, everything that he laid out there, no experience in that quarterback room, does that change your expectations for 2025? Originally, we're coming off a 10-2 in the college football playoff run. The expectation was to improve on that. You expected growth from Nico. You expected growth from the guys around Nico. So you kind of wanted to build off of that playoff run last year. What are your expectations now? Vegas shifted their win total from 9.5, which was spot on, right? You're looking, you're saying, is Tennessee going to win 10? They're going to win 9? You got to go on the road and play Florida. You got to go on the road and play Alabama. You got Georgia coming to Neyland Stadium. That's 3 things that Josh Heupel's never done. Can you do one of those 3? Get 10-2, make another run to the playoff, maybe get a better draw, maybe get a win, couple wins. Heck, go win an SEC championship, national championship. Vegas shifted from 9.5 to 8.5. Where did your expectations lie? Do you give Josh Heupel more time? Do you give him a little grace in 2025? Or do you say, no, this is college football. You got to figure it out. I'll tell you one thing, Josh Heupel's expectations didn't change. Josh Heupel's ready to go to work. He's a competitor. Urban Meyer goes on. I don't know what the answer is. There are some interesting answers out there, but it happened. And think about this. He threw for 200 yards in 8 games, more or less, 200 yards. He had 1 300-yard game, threw for 104 yards against Ohio State in the playoffs. He had a good first year as a starting quarterback, but I, as a guy that's been involved almost 40 years in this game, I can't believe this happened. Welcome to college football in 2025. Look, we'll never know. We're never going to know what Nico could have been in this offense. I was excited to see him grow, hopefully take a step. Some people were ready for him to move on and kick rocks. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but we're never going to know how this story would have unfolded. And you can thank, in my opinion, some of the people surrounding Nico. You can thank them for that. So what is the answer? Where does Tennessee go from here? I want to take a look at another option. Yesterday's video, I rattled off a few of the quarterback options, and now another one has popped up. This is from Vols Scoops on Twitter. It says quarterback Mike Wright, who just recently entered the transfer portal today and had previous stops at Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and Northwestern, has posted a picture from outside of Neyland Stadium on his Instagram story. His brother from Vanderbilt is also in the portal as well. He says, we got this twin rocking Tennessee jerseys outside of Neyland Stadium. Mike Wright, again, the quarterback at Northwestern, spent 3 seasons at Vanderbilt before transferring to Mississippi State for 2023, then ended up at Northwestern. Started just 2 games for Northwestern last year, 38 of 66 for 354 yards and an interception. Also ran for 84 yards and a touchdown on 18 carries. Now, this was from Pete Thamel. Says veteran quarterback Mike Wright is entering the portal. He tells ESPN, Wright played at Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and spent last year at Northwestern. Redshirted last year, which means he has 1 year remaining. He has 16 career starts at 3 schools. Wright said his main focus is finding a place to compete for the starting job. He said he's open to a potential position change, but the situation would have to be perfect. So, again, he goes to Instagram. He's talking about Tennessee. Is Tennessee interested in him? I don't see Mike Wright coming here and winning the starting job. But I do think a guy that has experience, he's a veteran, he's been in the league, he's been in the SEC. I think he would be a nice backup option. And again, trust the coaches. The coaches know what they have in Jake Merklinger. We don't know what we have. I was there at the orange and white game. That's a small body of work in a weird scenario of a glorified practice. Does this coaching staff believe in Jake Merklinger? That's what it's going to come down to. Like I said, a lot to get into today, so I wanted to run through all of it in one quick video. If anything pops off, any news to talk about, we'll be right back here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out our merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. That link is also in the description below. And again, you can help support by joining the channel. Hit that join button down below. If you're on an iPhone and want to support, there is a link in the description below that tells you how to join the channel as well. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.